Summer break is in full swing, and it really takes a village to help keep our kids constantly entertained and not on a screen while not in school. To help us, local family psychologist and 9 News parenting expert Dr. Sheryl Ziegler joins us for a conversation this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Corey.
This is so important. So mentally, why is it so important to keep kids entertained, off the couch, off the screen?
Yeah, you said it. You really got that in that intro about the screens. That's the biggest challenge, is really teaching kids how to have downtime and boredom, which manifests creativity. And I'm always saying this, I feel like a broken record, but summer especially is an opportunity to be like, oh, you're bored? Let's create something. Let's do something with our imagination. And I think that takes a little bit of planning and a balance of structured and unstructured time to actually make that happen.
What happens when kids are just too sedentary and they're not creative and exploring?
Well, a lot of things happen. We see physical consequences. We see more weight gain. We see, lack of really physical conditioning. So, of course, there's the physical part. And then mentally, we also see that lack of creativity and that lack of really being able to play, use your gross motor skills. They should be climbing things and running around, using fine motor skills by drawing and doing art. So we really want to understand that playing, especially in summertime and all different kinds of ways, is good for their bodies, their brains, and their mental health.
Yeah, physically and mentally for sure. So what advice or tips do you have for parents to keep kids engaged, exploring, keeping their minds fresh?
So the first thing I would say is it's really fun to have a summer bucket list. And so what you want to do is sit down and just say, hey, what are all the things we want to do, big and small, not just these big trips. So we all know here in Colorado, it's so easy and great to get into the outdoors. We have museums in Denver. We have the zoo. We have all those kinds of things, our rec centers. We have wonderful libraries. We have all of that stuff. And you have to manage that, though, with what you said, which is the home time, the downtime. So I love ideas like using those Amazon boxes that you have, get creative and, decorate them, and do things like have backyard camping, or maybe be able to watch a movie on a screen outdoors. There's lots of really fun, easy, inexpensive ways to keep your kids entertained. You just have to really set them up for that. Otherwise, they're going to default to that screen.
Yeah, it's really important. I noticed that when we let my son have screen time, he acts out a little bit more, and it's not the same when we're outside, when we're playing, getting fresh air and vitamin D. I don't know if there's any correlation to that, but it just seems better for them when they're being adventurous and exploring and using their minds.
Yeah, it's really hard for kids to do the transition. That's probably where you see that irritability. So they're on the screen, their brain is getting all of these dopamine hits, they're really into it, they don't want to get off. And asking them to get off is asking them to get off a drug. And so there's this withdrawal period, there's this transitional irritability, and there's also the piece of where they don't want to be that active. Once you've been sedentary and staring at a screen and really not using your own mind, but rather taking in all of this passive information that's very activating to the brain, it's hard to then transition and say, oh, let's go outside and, play on the water slide or play in the sprinklers. That can be a hard transition. And that's where we see meltdowns and irritability.
We're on the same wavelength. Next week for It Takes a Village, we're talking with a local author and entrepreneur who is talking about hiking with her kids and how she had to adjust her mindset to get her kids outside and exploring and hiking, which I love as well. And these were just such great points, Dr. Ziegler, because it is such a good reminder that in the summer there is a place for screen time and also a place to get out and enjoy the fresh air and all that Colorado has to offer. Dr. Ziegler, thank you.